Hey guys, Multi here. Yeah, we are back in business on Thursday, 21 of November. Starts a new classic, fresh, hardcore, and normal. So today I want to talk with you about a class picking guide. The class picking guide is, in general, I would say, sure, not so much about how good you can level them in hardcore, but in general I would say it's a class picking guide about what are the strengths or weaknesses, and yeah, that maybe you can consider what you want to go for. So let's start with Paladin. I would say I would rank Paladin in general around B tier. Why? Because it has one very strong spec, and that's Heal Paladin. You're an awesome healer as a Paladin, especially as a tank heal, main tank heal. I think there is nothing better, I would say, especially till very late in the game, than a Paladin that is just focusing on the tank, maybe downranking the spells to save some mana, and then just focusing on the tank. So if you want to play Paladin and heal, you will have a very good time. The other two specs with Retribution and Tank Paladin are not that good. On the tanking side, you are missing a real taunt, which can lead to some iffy situations. For sure, you are pretty good in dungeon grinding because of the AoE that you can provide, the AoE aggro management that you can provide. But later on in the game, you are kind of useless. There are some situations where I would say like an off-tank Paladin could work, but in general is not the best. Same about a Retribution Paladin. You are doing quite okay in PvP, or you're doing okay in PvP, but in PvE you are just lacking of consistent damage output. You can have very nice bursts, especially with some procs, but in general it's just too less. I would say nearly every other spec is better in DPS. So can you raid as a Retribution Paladin? Yes. Will your raid stack 4, 5, 6 Retribution Paladins? Pretty much no. But if you want to go for it, go for it. I think there's a lot of people who enjoy just playing Paladin, and I think if that's the case, you should go for it. But in general, I would say I only can here really highly recommend Heal Paladin moving forward into the game. Next one is Shaman. Shaman is quite decent, I would say. Or yeah, Shaman is quite decent, I would say. There is every spec is kind of playable. I think the best one maybe for the Horde side is then the Heal Shaman. You are together with Priest the best heal in the raid. You already have the chain heal, which you can do a lot of things with. AoE heal is not that very common in Classic, I would say. That why it makes so strong. You also have the Wind Fury Totem, which can help to provide nice damage output to the group, but they are lacking the blessings and everything that the Paladin could provide. So I think Paladin is a little bit stronger in raiding at the end of the day for the Alliance side, instead Shaman for the Horde side. But I think Shaman is a little bit more well-rounded in general than Paladin. Paladin at the end of the day has just one really good spec. I think Shaman has one very good spec with heal, and the other ones are definitely fine as well. I'm not sure if I really make here a ranking. It's more that I want to talk about these specs in general and maybe rank them a little bit, like which is the upside by the end of the day. Mage is definitely an S tier spec, S tier class in Classic. It feels like a hero class. You can have everything. You have mobility, you have CC, you have damage, you have AoE, you have single target damage. You have viable specs, like a single target frost spec, an AoE frost spec. Then later on you can switch a little bit into arcane, or then for sure definitely into fire after, I think it's starting in Anki-Rai. So you have everything. You have the best, yeah, I would say you have the best mobility. You definitely can farm a lot of gold with it, so the class design feels pretty good, besides maybe the part of the single target Frost Mage DPS, which is quite boring, let me say. But apart from this, I think it's a fun class to play, and if you are thinking about playing a caster purely focused on DPS, Mage is the way to go for you. And again, different specs are possible during different phases of the game. Also, leveling process are different specs possible. I would recommend a more Frost build, or maybe the Frost AoE build for leveling, but you can definitely also level as a Fire Mage at the end of the day if you want. Next one is Hunter. I think Hunter I can also put here in A tier. Yeah, what to say about Hunter? Awesome leveling, awesome solo play, decent DPS. You have your pet with you. That means you also feel never alone if you're more of a single player. The pet is very strong till 60. On 60 it starts to decline because the pet is not getting any gear or whatever. That means, yeah, it declines on level 60. Then usually you swap over to Marksman. The leveling process usually you do with the Beastmastery spec, but in general the class feels pretty well rounded. You are range DPS, your damage is fine. You have some nice tools as a hunter, I would say, and also there are some. The pets are pretty nice design, not graphic wise, but the pets are pretty nice designed when it comes to how different they are. There are some very specialized pets, like how is it called? Not, I wanted to say Bluetooth. I always forget the name because you know, the one cat, the one strong cat. There's another one next to Thunderbluff, this lion type of thing. So there are some very nice special pets that you can make a little bit more damage than other hunters if you get one of them. They are kind of rare, so it's hard to get, but at the end of the day, definitely worth it. And I think it has a nice class design, so if you're thinking about playing Hunter, you will definitely have a good time. You can also have some very nice solo grinds, solo farmings with the Diamol farm, for example, Maraudon or whatever. So in general, I think Hunter could be a very good choice for you if you want to have a good time in World of Warcraft Classic. Next one is Rogue, another S tier spec for me. It is one of the best DPS in the game. It is a melee class, but a little bit different maybe than some other ones like Paladin or Warrior or whatever, because yeah, you are usually also mostly you use daggers, but you can also use swords, so it's a little bit depending how much you want to fight for your items with the other specs, with the other classes. But you can definitely rely on dagger. You are awesome in PvP. With your stealth, you can have some good times, especially on a PvP server. So in general, I think if you want to play Rogue, move forward. It's pretty strong overall, starting from phase 1 and moving up till next. It's all the time a pretty strong class. With sub, you also have a very nice PvP spec if you are into the PvP scene. So in general, Rogue, awesome class. Next one is Priest, and that's for me the next S tier spec. Why? Because it is, at the end of the day, the best heal in the game. It's well rounded, single target, AoE, buffs, and so on and so on, some other tools. So priests are just overall the best heal in the game. Shadow Priest is, I would say, at maximum okay. At maximum okay. I would say so. You can play Shadow Priest if you are into PvP and all this. Let me see, role playing with as a Shadow Priest or whatever. If you just like that playstyle, definitely go for it. But yeah, you will definitely be the most highest valued heal in the game at the end of the day. because you have everything what it needs. So yeah, that's why I really would say Priest is an S tier class for World of Warcraft Classic. Next one is Druid. Yeah, I cannot rank Druid higher than Paladin at the end of the day, but I have to say Druids are usually very special people who play Druid. I mean more like real mains, because they are maining Druid. It has maybe the same weakness as Paladin, kind of the same weakness as Paladin, because it feels a little bit like a class who can do everything, but at the end of the day that leads to that they cannot do anything perfect. Like Mage is very good in damage, Rogue is very good in damage, and the Druid has the problem. Balanced Druid, don't get me wrong, is okay. You can definitely have 1 or 2 balanced Druid in a raid, but Mage is just so much better, and also Warlock is better. That it makes no sense to really stack them or whatever. Next one is Feral Druid. Yeah, you can also provide a nice buff to your melee groups, and it is a decent DPS. Don't get me wrong, especially if they go for some certain items. How is it called, a Pummeler or whatever in Gnomeregan. So it can also be a decent DPS, but again, also here it lacks what the other DPS classes can provide. And then we have Heal Druid. Every raid will have a raid Druid, because they are very good in healing, but the problem is their HOTs are overriding each other, and I think the HOT with the most plus heal is, at the end of the day, which one is counting. That means if they are going on the same target, it is a little bit useless at the end of the day. So that's why usually only 1 heal Druid is in every raid. If you have 2, don't get me wrong, you can definitely clear every raid, but in general, only 1 heal Druid. That means that leads up to maybe you have 1 Druid spec, 1 of each Druid spec in a raid. That means 3 Druids in a raid. Could be possible, but at the end of the day, I think many guilds also will just go for 1 heal Druid and that's it. So yeah, leveling, I think you have a decent time, because you can do everything, and you're definitely not that static like the Paladin. But yeah, I think Druid, if you're not loving the class, I think I would not recommend you to play it. But as a Druid main, I think you will have a good time. Next one is Warlock. Warlock is for me the next A tier spec. They are pretty good, pretty strong. They are doing a little bit less damage than Mage, I would say, through all over the game. They are getting a little bit more close to each other during all the phases. That means at the end of Naxxramas, I would say they are kind of close together, but still Mage is in front, and Mage just has the upside with all the other things that I mentioned, like mobility, all the CC that he has, the ability to AoE farm. A lot of solo farms for Mage are possible. Warlocks definitely also have some things that they make, and like they have summons, which makes them very high valued in many guilds. Every guild will have their 1, 2, 3 Warlocks because of that case, that the health stones and everything. So Warlock is pretty decent. Demo Warlock is possible to play, especially I think you can get there something that can help the raid. I forgot how it's called, but mostly we will see Affliction Warlocks at the end of the day. I think Destruction Warlock is only a thing in PvP, but all specs are possible to play, especially on leveling. But at the end of the day, Affliction is the best. Last, but definitely not least, is Warrior. And I think we all know Warrior is, I would say, the best class in World of Warcraft Classic. It's the best tank by far, and it's the best DPS, not by far, but it's the best DPS. And yeah, that just makes it the best class. You have also Arms Warrior, which is pretty good in PvP, but in PvE is mostly Fury Warrior and Protection Warrior, or is Fury Protection Warrior, to be honest, Fury Tank, where you're not wielding a shield, you just have one-hand weapons. Yeah, you have everything what it needs, and the world buffs make you even much stronger than you already are. From phase 1 to the last phase of the game, Warrior will be the best tanks, and they will be the best DPS in a raid. So don't expect anything else from the best guilds than like 20 plus warriors in a raid. At the end of the day, that's just what is happening, I would say, around 15 to 20 warriors. And the rest will be mostly filled with rogues and mages, I would say, and then with the heals that you need, maybe 100 to pull or whatever. Warriors are very gear depending. That means you have to put a lot of effort to be strong. You cannot just level with a green weapon 15 level behind your level or whatever. You always need a decent weapon. The leveling starts a little bit slow, but later on you get stronger and stronger. You already feel that as a warrior, and it feels better and better. I would say you start usually with a two-hand weapon, and then you later on move to one-hand weapon to dual wield. But yeah, in general, warrior is the best class in the game. As you can see, I rank them all pretty close together. Why? Because they all bring everything into the game. That's also why it makes Classic so nice for me. We have the Paladin with one of the best heals. We have Druid, which can provide these nice buffs to the raid as a feral and also as a balanced Druid for the casters. One heal Druid is definitely recommended. The Shaman, like the second best heal for the Horde side, with the totems and with a lot of things they can give. Very nice general overall solo character with a lot of farming abilities, the Hunter, and also like for the raid to make the pulls. Warlocks, decent amount of damage. The summons, the health stones, what they bring to the raid. Priest, best heal in the game. Rogue, second best DPS combined with Mage, second best melee in the game. So yeah, makes them also very high valued. Mage, I think I said a lot about it. It's maybe the most well-rounded DPS spec overall if you combine all the game together, not only raiding, I mean all the game, leveling, farming, PvP, whatever. And then we have Warrior, the best class in WoW Classic, just point blank. That's it for today's videos, guys. Have a good one. See you. Bye bye.